actually like talking about which killers would last the longest. Which killers would last the longest? Of course I had it on. Which killers would last the longest in an actual power scale fight? So we decided to go with a tier list. And so now we just kind of want to see what everyone thinks insofar as like which killers would win, which killers would stand no chance at all. Okay, Horse. You can agree with me that there's a couple of killers on this list that would probably die immediately. That wouldn't really stand a chance in like basically killing any of these guys, right?
Are you talking about the Legion?
Yeah, of course I'm talking about Legion. My favorite killer. I don't think that my favorite killer stands a chance. Because Legion's thing is that they're just normal, like, teenagers, and they just got a knife. And even they, like if you look at the lore, like, they were, like, super timid about, like, even killing anybody. Frank Morrison was 19 and had little to show for it. So, like, they're literally teenagers. So they got Frank, Julie, and then 2 more of these guys. And what did they do again? One evening, Frank dared Joey to vandalize a store that had recently fired him. They snuck inside easily. They killed a cleaner. Without hesitating, planted the blade into the cleaner's back. Yeah, so they just stabbed a guy to death. That's all they did as the Legion. So, like, against these kinds of killers, they wouldn't stand a chance. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Legion probably wouldn't get any kills at all. Like, they were just literally teenagers. So they would die. So I'm gonna say no chance at all for Legion, even though they're the best.
You gotta take in consideration that these killers obviously were designed to attack innocent and helpless people. So while the Legions can do that, they won't stand a chance against actual killers.
Yeah, and these guys aren't like they didn't kill a whole bunch of people. They killed one helpless cleaner, like when they were vandalizing something. So they literally don't stand a chance at all. Now, Scream actually has a significant body count. In the film, Scream killed a few different people, right? I'd say that Scream actually puts up a fight, now that I think about it. Because Scream has killed multiple people. Scream is really stealthy. And I think he killed a cop in one of the movies when they called the cops. He's kind of the one that started the whole cliche of like the cops being unaware, right? So I'm gonna say that Scream could probably put up a fight. I feel so bad because like no chance at all is just so bad. It's so bad. Okay.
So we just get out of the way all the humans.
Well, okay. So the thing is, some of these humans are actually like really intelligent. So they wouldn't just automatically go down just because they're humans. They're very sharp. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I feel as though the pig manages a kill. Because with all the saw traps and the reverse bear trap, I feel like the pig could probably kill at least a person. Like, even if it's just the Legion, or if it's just what's its face, Scream, I feel like the pig would be able to kill somebody. Now, we should probably focus on the normal killers, like the normal human killers first before we advance. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that the K-pop guy probably puts up a fight with his multiple knives. I don't think he'd get a kill. I think he'd be able to put up a fight though, because ultimately he's he's not really fanciful or hyper intelligent with his kill. He just throws knives at a whole bunch of people. So I'm gonna say that someone really stealthy would probably be able to avoid that. And I'm going to go ahead and say that someone really smart, like the pig, would probably be able to avoid that.
But he'll do some damage and probably hinder some killers.
Yeah, I feel like he'd actually hurt some killers, but I don't think he'd, like, actually kill anybody. I'm gonna leave that to the pig.
Another killer I think will, like, not get a kill, who will put up a fight is probably the doctor.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say that the doctor might be able to do a little bit, but not much. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the doctor over there to put up a fight.
He'll do some effect, like he'll leave them mentally scarred, but in all, he's not gonna take anyone down.
Yeah.
I don't even know what weapon he uses. What does
Hey,
he use?
what's up, Zanana? He uses like a spiky. I think he uses like a mace. I'm pretty sure that's what his weapon is, a mace.
Yeah, that's not gonna take care of anyone. You need a
Yes.
blade.
So I'm gonna say that this is I think this is fair so far. Now, someone I do think that could manage at least one kill is probably gonna be the Huntress. I'm gonna say that the
Yeah.
Huntress could probably beat these guys.
Another experienced killer.
Yeah, because she's relatively experienced. She stays in her woods, and she's pretty good with her hatchet. I think her hatchet would probably do a lot more damage than the K-pop dudes, like, throwing knives. And I think that she's experienced enough as a huntress, quote unquote, to be able to, like, take out these guys in the bottom right here for sure.
Here's a question, then. Who do you think, so far, who do you think the pig and the huntress would have killed in this fight?
I think that
Managed
either of
one
them
kill.
could take out Legion, no problem. I'm sorry, Legion. I love you so much. But
Well, I think the pig would have gone for the Legion. It seems fitting for the pig to, like, do what they do in the movies. Go after, like, people who've done bad stuff.
oh, you know what? That's actually a great point. I didn't consider that. I think the pig would punish the Legion for, like,
Exactly.
being a vandal and not respecting human life. So, like, they would actually probably target the Legion. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Legion. You're just so fucked. It's so unfair. It's so unbelievably unfair. Now, another person that I think would put up a fight but not really get anywhere is probably the clown. Very, very underwhelming power. He's just got a basic knife, and he's not particularly fast. He doesn't have anything extraordinary. You take away his glass jars, he's not exactly cunning. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the clown there.
Would that put him in the no chance then?
I'm not gonna say no chance, because, like, if you take away his knife and you take away Legion's knife, if they got into a fight, the clown would still tear Legion in half, because they're just little teenagers.
I don't know. I feel like even with a small stature, I think they can be rather ruthless. Like, I can see them clawing.
Well, if you look at their lore, they didn't even want to kill the cleaner. Frank forced them to kill the cleaner. Now, I know we're being kind of like, about it by, like, bringing up all the Legion rather than just Frank. But even Frank was just a vandal before he killed just one cleaner. I feel like the clown... Well, let's look at the clown's lore real quick. Has the clown killed a whole bunch of people? Let me see that real quick.
He killed an entire city.
Born in 32 by difficult labor. Academically, he was unremarkable. So he's not a very sharp, book-smarty kind of guy. Coasting by in his significant athletic prowess. Oh, so he was a pretty good athlete. He excelled at track events. So he's pretty fast, according to the lore. On his walk home from school, he would often find feathers on the ground, and he soon began a collection, keeping them in a cigar box, with his father either at work or an alcohol-induced stupor. He ingratiated himself with a local dentist, soon procuring some anesthetic. So he's like kind of like a chemist-y kind of guy. He started working as a busboy at a local diner. He also escalated to larger prey like squirrels. So he did light hunting. Okay, so he has a lot of people that he's captured and killed. And he tortures a lot of people. Again, this is something that the Legion does not do. They did not want to kill that cleaner. Frank just forced them to do it. And Frank doesn't have a body count on him. He killed that cleaner specifically. And that was just a completely defenseless dude, so.
But you still think he could put up a fight?
Yeah, I think he could put up a fight. And I think if it came down to between him and the Legion, he would probably kill him. I'd say that the clown would probably win that fight. All right. Now, looking at it further, I'm going to go ahead and say that manages one kill. I'm going to go ahead and put the hunter in there. Because I feel like with his ranged weapon and his ability to, like, go after people, he'd probably be able to shoot one of these lower end killers and then just beat the shit out of them when he's impaled them. Now, I know I'm not really giving the doctor a lot of credit, but I say that because his ability to drive people insane, I'm not sure how well that would work with, like, say, the huntress, who is very clearly already insane, and the pig who's been driven insane in the Saw franchise. I'm not.
A lot of them are insane.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are literally already insane. The survivors are obviously seen to be like mostly sane, so I don't know how well that would scale against them. Also, his power doesn't actually do any damage, it just causes confusion. Where the pig's power is an insta-kill, the huntress's power can one-shot you depending on the add-ons, and the guy with this gun, like, he can basically just drag you across the map, and he's ranged, so yeah, with a good shot, he could just, like, yeah, he could do some real damage. So that's why I'm putting him up here. Now, I'm going to keep going with this, like, using this logic. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Trapper probably would be able to get a kill. Now, me and Horse were talking about this, but I feel like the Trapper and this guy would work together. Now, obviously, this is just headcanon, and we're just making up our own lore. But I think it's reasonable to say that if this guy sets traps and this guy shoots big game, I feel like they'd probably work together, at least to secure one kill. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
I would believe that these two, and maybe another killer, would be smart enough to work together rather than to fight each other. Because the Trapper you mentioned just has a machete and a bear trap, and that's pretty much it. Whereas the rest of these killers have a lot more going for them. Whereas the Trapper doesn't really have anything. So he would probably need to be smart enough to work with someone who does have a lot more to them.
I'm going to say that the last person I would go ahead and say would be able to pull a kill off is the Hillbilly. I think that, judging by just his weapon, if he swung his chainsaw at any of these lower killers, they would probably die. Now, he would also be able to go toe-to-toe with any of the killers beside him, so I think this is a fair measurement. I think this is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about the twins' lore, so I'm going to go ahead and look at their lore real quick, because I want to be able to give them an accurate thing. I don't know anything about their lore.
Well, I know one thing. The little dude is kind of like the jockey from Left 4 Dead, where he just kind of clings onto the person and, like, pulls him down for his twin to come over and bash him over the head.
Yeah, but see, the thing about the twins is also that if you separate, like, the little one, even survivors who are completely unarmed can kill the little one. So I'm not sure how well that would scale against a killer. Exactly. And as a weapon, his weapon is just, I think he has a pickaxe. So I don't know about a pickaxe when half of his kit is based around just this little guy. So I'm actually going to place him kind of low on the tier list. But let me read his lore real quick. Oh, this is actually a sister. Within the temple, they were exposed to unusual experiments for years, some cruel, many simply baffling. One day, they would be made to break the neck of a small gray bird. That's not much. Life in her teenage years was a game of survival. Her hatred for humanity grew each day under the realization they would never leave her be, no matter how many died during her botched robberies and desperate attempts to escape. There would always be more to pursue and sling words of condemnation at her monster demon witch. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and place the twins low on this tier list. I just don't feel like the twins are gonna scale very well in this one.
I would honestly put them in no chance. Again, with the competition that they're going up against, the twin would have worked well with survivors.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
go ahead and say no chance because half this kit can be killed by survivors. So sucks, but I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, who should we go with next? Okay. I think that insofar as Freddy goes, Freddy is kind of interesting because the thing about Freddy is if you take into account his dream powers, he's relatively tough based on his lore. But in, for example, the newest movie for Freddy, he was killed by a couple of teenagers with very basic weapons when he came into reality. And I think that any of these killers, at least in tier 4, would probably be able to overpower Freddy. Huntress, and if he can get killed with basic weapons, he can definitely get killed by like a saw trap or a reverse bear trap. So that would probably work on him. But
That'd be kind of badass to see him get killed by a reverse bear trap.
But I mean, like, the characters in the movie had to go through a lot of hoops in order for him to appear in their world and actually be able to get killed. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Freddy. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Freddy might be able to manage multiple kills, at least when it comes to this tier, the lower tier, and obviously no chance at all. I think that he could probably do. He could probably do this entire list right here. Yeah, I'm gonna give him that at least, because if he drags them into the dream world, then he could probably take them out. But I don't think he'd be able to. I don't think he'd be able to do more than that. You get what I mean? I think he'd just be able to kill 2 or 3.
And the K-pop will probably be his victims.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Easy.
Yeah. Okay, the next person I definitely put in that tier is the Cloaker. Because the Cloaker, you can see... Well, the Wraith, but I call him the Cloaker. The Wraith. You'd be able to see the Wraith, and survivors can see the Wraith. So, you'd be able to run away from him, but ultimately, his ability to turn invisible would give him the upper hand in most of the situations against any of the killers below him. And I think that would allow him to put down a whole bunch of these guys. Like, he would probably be able to put down a shit ton of these guys. Another person that I think could manage multiple kills is going to be this guy, the Blight. I think the Blight could put down a whole bunch of guys because of his incredibly fast speed. He'd probably be able to start knocking dudes out, at least in the lower tiers for sure. And it would be difficult for the Huntress to get him with her hatchet. It'd be it'd be difficult for the Trapper to catch him. It'd be difficult for the guy to shoot him. So, yeah, I think that the Blight would be able to do the guys below him for sure.
Well, I don't know, because, like, his weapon of choice, isn't it just like a cane?
Yeah, it's just a cane, but I think, like, his incredibly fast speed would make it very difficult for them to stop him.
I wouldn't put him in multiple kills then. I would put him hard to put down. Like, I would say, like, he'd last so long, but I can't see him killing some of the lower tiers.
Well, I could definitely see him killing at least... I could definitely see him killing the bottom 2 tiers, no problem.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like he should be in hard to put down. He's kind of like the Roadrunner in Dead by Daylight.
I mean, I do see your point. Like, physically, he doesn't really output too much damage because, I mean, he does have a cane, but it's at, like, extremely quick speed. So, I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave him there for now, and I'm gonna think about it some more. Now, when you start getting into what would work on survivors and what would work on killers, I think it's fair to say that the human killers would probably be infected by the Plague's ability. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her right here. It manages at least a kill. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna say manages multiple kills because she could probably kill all of these people down here with her ability to infect people. Speed over strength. Yeah. Well, that depends because even overwhelming speed cannot stop overwhelming strength. Like,
I mean, you gotta see like who we got left still. These are big people.
These are really tough people.
The Oni, the Demogorgon, Nemesis. I mean,
I'd say
that's gonna be hard to take.
Looking at it from more physics standpoint, speed increases kinetic energy exponentially while increasing mass, which is more along strength lines. Doesn't. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But we do have some extremely high strength characters coming up as we keep going through this list. I think this is fair so far. It's like, it sucks. It like really sucks for me to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the Demogorgon probably only manages 1 kill.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say multiple kills.
I'm going to say that the Demogorgon only manages 1 kill because insofar as Stranger Things goes, the Demogorgon only killed 1 person. Now, he snuck up on like the security guys in season 1, but that's because they were so preoccupied trying to capture 11, and they were trying to capture 11 without killing 11, and they were trying not to shoot the kids because they had the option to do all those things and they didn't do it. They only were able to do it in the confusion. And the Demogorgon, he got trapped and almost killed by a bunch of teenagers. So, no, I wouldn't say that the Demogorgon is higher than manages 1 kill. He wasn't even able to kill, what's your character's name in Stranger Things?
Will.
He wasn't even able to kill Will. He only captured Will, and Will kept evading him. So...
Well, that's because he will to live, Mr. Zen.
Shut up. So, yeah, I'd honestly say that the Demogorgon probably only takes 1 kill. And it'd be hard for him to do it, because they have no intelligence. They can't even kill, like, a little boy. So, no, I don't think the Demogorgon stands too much of a chance here. Okay. Now we're going to start getting into characters that are extremely tough, but not invincible. So, I'm going to go ahead and say that Leatherface manages multiple kills. But I'm not sure if I would say that he is hard to put down. I do think that his ability to, like, get a very high body count should not be something that should be underestimated, because Leatherface in the movie killed a whole bunch of people. And it took a lot of people to finally, like get him down, basically. So, it's not impossible, but, like, he almost died in, the making of movie. He, like, almost got taken out. So, I don't think that it's something that a whole bunch of people collectively working together can't stop. So, like, it's not a situation where Leatherface can solo all these guys on the lower tier. So, I'm not gonna put him higher than that. I'd say that the Hag probably manages 1 kill, but her attacks are extremely basic. She just charges at you and slashes you with her claw. She doesn't have super strength, super speed, none of that. She only attacks defenseless survivors. So, I'm gonna say that she could probably beat the people below her.
She
But
would also have the advantage of having those traps where she would appear.
and like disappear and appear and disappear. But I wouldn't say that she
so-
can do much more than that. So I'm not gonna give her any higher than that. Now we're gonna get to hard to put down, and this is where things are gonna start getting really, really interesting. I think this is fair so far. Now, I'd say that it'd probably be hard to put down the nurse. The nurse has the ability to teleport, go straight through walls, and she's got really good, like, speed because of that. She can just catch up to you. And despite the survivor's abilities to drop pallets, she can go straight through pallets as well if you time your teleportation properly.
So nothing basically stops her.
Nothing basically stops her, so I think that she could teleport and stab Blight to death. She could teleport and stab Leatherface to death, and Freddy wouldn't really be able to, like, do anything. I don't think she dreams, so his ability to, like, get into her dream wouldn't really work. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that she's probably hard to put down. And I would say the exact same thing about the Oni. I'd say that the Oni is probably really hard to put down. Plus, he can go into his, like, super strong mode, which makes him twice as quick. And if he damages you, he seems to be able to get stronger as he damages you, and faster as he damages you. He's got a pretty deadly kit as well. He's obviously kitted out to, like, actually, like, fight. He's got his long katana, and then he's got his club. He's really freaking quick. And the survivors can barely, if at all, outrun him. Also, if you drop a pallet in his face, he goes right through the pallet, too, if I remember correctly.
It's interesting how these two are hard to put down, but they're hard to put down in different ways. The nurse being able to just evade everything, while the Oni is just brute force through everything.
Yeah, so I'd say that this is fair so far. And now we're getting into the high tier, and then the people that actually have a chance to take the entire fight. Now, this is where shit gets really, really difficult. Like, really freaking difficult. Because I'm going to try to, like, bring in lore at the same time. And it sucks. It really sucks that I have to do this. But I don't think that the Pyramid Head would make it all the way to Last to Stand. Now, the thing about him is he can be stopped with conventional weapons, as what happened in Silent Hill 2. He was forced to retreat in Silent Hill 2. And after you damage him enough, he leaves. He doesn't die in that fight, but he does retreat. So he can be stopped with conventional weapons, but it takes immense damage to put him down. And he also has a lot of powers that I think would work on any of these guys. He could put any of these guys into the Cage of Torment. He could put any of the he could do extreme damage with his giant machete to any of these guys, and he can take an extreme amount of punishment too. So
yeah, he's gonna have a high body count. If they aren't killed, he will definitely kill them.
Now I do think that if multiple of the hard to put downs, or well, I don't know if all these guys grouped together they'd be able to stop him, but hard to put down, if these two grouped up together, I think that they'd be able to do an immense amount of damage to him. Her ability to teleport and stab him repeatedly, and his ability to also tank and do an immense amount of damage would be pretty rough on Pyramid Head, because he's relatively slow. Even in the game, he's relatively slow. Now, depending on which Pinhead you use, he could be in multiple different tiers. Now, the Cenobites, I was actually looking at the clips for them. If you take this clip from Hellraiser 2, a lot of the Cenobites die here, and they die to conventional attacks. So here's the other Cenobites. She gets stabbed in the throat, this Cenobite does, and she died. This Cenobite right here, he gets stabbed in the heart, he dies. Now, this isn't Pinhead, but Pinhead is defeated multiple times throughout the series. Now, okay, so if you use those examples, then Pinhead could die to a conventional attack. But as an example, I haven't seen this movie, Hellraiser 4, but it looks like he gets killed by an actual laser cannon, which would obviously put a scale pretty high up there. Look at this.
Bit extreme.
Yeah, so it takes a lot to put him down in this movie, but if you're gonna say that a conventional attack can kill him, like, he could go in a lot of different tiers because of this. So it's kind of difficult to say which tier he would go to, right?
Well, which one of those was Elliot? If any of them were Elliot.
Which one is Elliot supposed to be? Is he supposed to be the first version of Pinhead? Elliot Spencer. So I think this is supposed to be the first one.
So he's not the one who died to the laser cannon.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna say that, then technically he could get killed by, like, a conventional attack. So he doesn't really have extreme durability. But I mean, like, in that scene, he doesn't die to conventional attacks. The other Cenobites die. But I think it's fair to say that if they get killed by it, then he would too, right?
Would he be multi-killed then?
I'd say that he'd be hard to put down, because I think that his powers would work on any of these guys. Because I don't think that Freddy's powers would work on him. Justice for the Clown. Wem, join our call. I want to see the Clown versus the Cenobite.
That'd be fantastic.
With this goofy music playing in the background.
Don't say the word goofies in.
Okay, now we're gonna get to high tier. And honestly, I feel like high tier is specifically just left up to Pyramid Head. Now, Pyramid Head can be defeated by, like, conventional weapons. But the thing about Pyramid Head is he wasn't killed. He was just forced to retreat from all the damage he received. He just retreated in the second game. In the second game, you had multiple different weapons, and he just ended up retreating there. But he wasn't killed, so I wouldn't say that even with the damage that the Oni or the Cenobite or the nurse can deal to him, that would kill him. I think he would just retreat. So I don't think that's enough. I also think that his machete would cleave any of the people below him in half. I'm sorry, but nobody's surviving the machete. And also his powers to put them into the Cage of Torment. Now, The Cenobite might like that, but they're also not gonna like being chopped in half with the machete. So, yeah, I'm sorry,
a
but
little while.
and the nurse teleporting around, just stabbing him, is just not gonna do enough damage. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna do enough. So, it would be the coolest shit ever to watch the Oni fight Pyramid Head, though. I'm not even gonna lie. It would be so cool to watch that fight.
That would be fantastic.
But I think the Pyramid Head would ultimately take it. I'm sorry, Oni. You look really cool, though.
I hate the Oni.
Now, this is where we get to the top tier. Now,
Oh, not even high tier? We're done with that?
yeah, I honestly think that we're done with high tier.
What?
Damn. It says free last standing.
Yeah. Now, this is where it could go either way. All three of these guys. Now, the spirit...
Oh, the spirit, no.
Now, the spirit, according to her lore, she's already dead.
No.
So,
Does
I'm
that
not...
count?
I'm not exactly sure how you would put her down if she's already fucking dead. And if you look at the way she died, I'm gonna show you guys a picture so you guys could see. Now, the spirit, she's already chopped in every which way, so conventional attacks are not gonna work on her. Her arm is already chopped off, her torso is already chopped in half, and she's got glass all over her body, so conventional attacks are clearly not gonna be enough to put her down.
So even Pyramid Head can't do anything to her because she's already chopped up.
Yeah, so I mean, like, what is Pyramid Head gonna do? Just chop her in half? Like, how is that gonna stop her? She's already in half. He can't put her into the Cage of Torment because she can just teleport out of the Cage of Torment. We don't know how far she could go, but we don't know what could possibly stop her or put her down. And she could eventually force Pyramid Head to retreat. That's just my opinion. Like, with enough stabs with her katana, she could probably force him to retreat. She wouldn't kill him, but she would force him to retreat. Myers is really, really tough because Myers has died multiple times, but Myers has adaptability. No matter how many times you kill him, he just learns how you killed him and he comes back stronger. So, that's just his curse. It would be really hard to stop Myers. Now, I might be willing to move Myers down to high tier. Just because Myers, I don't think, could kill either of these guys. Where I think either of these guys could kill Myers. So, yeah, I think I'm going to say that. Myers is cursed. We'll just keep reviving him endlessly. But no matter how many times Myers revives, he's not going to be able to stab the spirit to death. Because he's not going to be able to stab the spirit to begin with. So,
Yeah.
I don't think he'll figure out how to get rid of her.
yeah, so, and if there's some incantation bullshit that would actually stop the spirit, that's not Myers. That's not what he does. He tries to stab you to death. So, I'm sorry. But, like, even if you killed Myers, he'd just come back and adapt. But that doesn't mean he can stop the spirit. Now, the strongest contender for the strongest person, like, even if you decide to move the spirit down a tier, I'm not saying that I'm moving her down a tier. The Tyrant is going to win. The Tyrant is basically unstoppable. So, no matter how many times you kill the Tyrant, he would come back stronger and adapt to what you used to kill him. That's his entire thing right there. So, even if they all ganged up on the Tyrant and killed him, he would just come back stronger than ever and adapt to everything that they did to him. So, yeah, they're not stopping the Tyrant. What stopped the Tyrant in the game was a laser death cannon that destroyed all of his molecules. None of these guys have a laser death cannon that is going to destroy all of his molecules. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think Tyrant takes it here. I think that you could maybe put the Spirit next to the Tyrant, but the Spirit is not going to be able to put down the Tyrant, and the Tyrant is not going to be able to put down the Spirit. So,
Well, that's why it'd be last.
so it could be a stalemate. But, like, you could argue that you could put Myers next to them, but Myers can be killed by either of these guys. He'd come back, but he can't kill either of these guys, so that's not going to do much. So I think this is a fair like list right here. That's my opinion.
We need a clown tier above all that just says.
Yeah, clown is the real high tier.
Exactly.
I think that this is a very fair list right here.
I think the reasoning is like very sound here.
Now, I think the nurse is kind of interesting because the nurse can also teleport, but is the nurse already dead?
Possibly.
Let me see the nurse's lore. Sally came to town with dreams of children's feet and laughter in a wooden home built by her husband Andrew. One had to pay Sally a visit, forever changing her life with no other option. Sally had to find a way but the only employment. Finally, she could not take it anymore, and the concepts of purification emerged inside her. As the morning staff arrived one day in September, they found over 50 patients dead in their beds, and 4 staff members also dead. Only Sally had survived the night, but her mind was gone, rocking back and forth nonstop. They got her into an ambulance, but that ambulance never reached the hospital. It was found crashing nearby. All the staff dead, and Sally nowhere to be found. Now, Sally has a pretty significant body count, but what's its face? She's also physical. She can be stopped by the pallet. Now, all of them can be stopped by the pallet, yes, but
Probably just game-wise.
I feel like you can actually, like, touch and grab her, which wouldn't apply to the spirit, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
If you actually look at the spirit's animation, hang on, where is she?
Yeah,
There's you.
she's
She's like
going
appearing in and out of existence, especially as she runs. She's appearing in and out of existence constantly.
And the weapon she pulls out just appears.
Yeah,
So
like,
she's
see,
really
it appears
great.
and disappears. She's like there and not there at the same time is actually a great reason why I think that when it comes down to the spirit versus the nurse could stab her, but what's that gonna do?
Just her.
Nothing. I don't even think it hurt.
Now let's make a survivor tier list.
Oh no.
A tier for Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight is top tier because he always gets
Dwight
found
is
immediately.
bottom tier.